Chap tales. Don't you wanna hear some chap tales?
Hello people, what is happening? Chap tales again? Okay, so I was thinking about stories, and yes, I thought about a story that has to do with fishing, which was massive for me and my mates growing up. I don't do it anymore because of me old minces have had it, so I can't. Yeah, but I just thought of this story because it's about the time of my biggest catch, biggest carp catch, which was 31 pounds and 3 ounces. Anyway, so me and my mate Dean used to love it. We used to go up to the Hampstead Heath, all over Hampstead Heath. I can't even speak. All over Hampstead Heath. And this particular occasion, we decided we would go and fish at the Hampstead number 2 pond. And basically on that lake, there's basically 2 swims that are worth your weight in, you know what I mean? But we used to do it proper, like we'd go up there for like 4 days or whatever. And at this particular time, I was not at work because of my eyes had come to the front, if you like, and I couldn't do driving at this particular time. So me and Dean decided we would go and do 4 days up at the Hampstead number 2. And so basically we went up on a Thursday, but Friday he had to go to work, and I think even Saturday morning he might have had to work and whatever, and then we was going to go home Sunday night. But so we go up, we get set up. We had like this massive 2-man bivvy with both our bed chairs in it, a little table at the back with with music and drinks, and but we used to do it proper, you know what I mean? It was like I don't know, fish amping or something. Fish glamping. So anyway, we'd been up there a couple of days and nothing. We hadn't had nothing, and there was, to make it even worse, like we was on this, I can't even remember what the swim was called, but it's basically like a big muddy bank where it fits the 2-man bivvy in that perfect 2 pods down the front, you know what I mean? It was all sweet. But just across from us there's a swim called the Willow, where a lot of people used to do like surface fishing, and anyway, we knew the couple of lads that had been over there the last 2 days they'd been up, and they'd both caught 1 fish each on each day, and we hadn't caught a thing. So the Friday morning came, and Dean was like, right, I'm gonna have to go to work. Are you gonna be all right if I'll be straight back up after work, yeah? And I was like, yeah, sweet mate, yeah, quite sweet, I'm all right, yeah, go on. So so Dean's gone to work, and I have stayed there in the bivvy. And I've reeled Dean's rods in, like put them aside, do you know what I mean? Because I thought, no, I'm not going to try and use 4 rods, you know what I mean? 2 rods is hard enough for me. Where my eyes had only sort of been discovered around this time, and like I was starting to, not be good at certain things that needed minces. Anyway, so we're there, like, and in front of us there was like this little floating island that used to move around, had a little tree on it and all that, and I had one of the rods on that and one at the back of the Willow, which the people fishing the Willow swim wouldn't have been able to get to because it was at the back, and unless they was going to cast over the willow tree or whatever and have their line all drooping down and all that. But so I'm there, like, and then like Dean's been gone about an hour, and then boom, my rod that was at the back of the Willow just screamed off, like it was unbelievable. So I've run down jumped down into this little bit where rods are, like, and I've just picked up my rod, boom, struck it into a fish. Now I'm playing this fish, and I ain't joking, it felt big. It felt big. It was really big. Anyway, I'm fighting it for about half hour, I'd say, like, because, do you know what I mean? Trying my best to keep it out of getting all tangled up in the willow tree and all that. And my other rod, I basically knocked it off the bite alarm, so it was like facing into the water, because I was hoping that would sink the line and this fish wouldn't get tangled up in that line or whatever. And it never, and basically got my net down, got it wet and that, ready to land the fish, and boom. Basically, the last bit of it, just pulled it, see it come up to the surface, gliding towards me along the surface, and boom, got the net out under it, and the fish was in the net. So basically, put my rod on a pod or whatever, and I had the bait runner switched on, so I could walk back up the bank a bit to where our landing mats was. Or, well, actually, I had a cradle that I bought from Eric's Angling. I think they're in Leeds. They was very good, they was. Yeah, so I got this fish in the cradle, bit of water in the cradle, whatever. And I had picked it up out of the net into the cradle because I couldn't, like, do you know what I mean? Put the net at the side. I'm not even paying attention to this fish. Like, I'm just thinking it's a lovely fish or whatever. I've unhooked it. I even checked its mouth and all that. I had the old Carp Medi stuff to put on the fish's mouth if it was damaged, but it weren't. And then this is when I took in the fish. I looked down at it and I was like, oh my God, that is massive. And I was like, because at this point, my biggest fish was 25 pounds. And I was like, oh my God, that is a big boy. Oh my God. So I went to the tent and I got my old Reuben Eatons out, zeroed them and that, wet the waist sling and all that, zeroed them with the waist sling on them and all that. And then I got this fish and got it into the sling and basically got it on the old Reuben Eatons and lifted it up with the palms of my hand like that, so the clock was straight in my face and I could obviously see a bit then. And boom, watched it climb round the clock until it hit 31 pound 3 ounces. Now it could have been 31.4, could have been 31.2, but I think it was 31.3. So you're just gonna have to believe me or don't believe me, whatever. And I just couldn't, I was so happy, man. I was just like, I'll put it back in the cradle and that, moved the sling and that out of the way and all that. And then obviously at this time, this is when usually you get a picture. And I was like, oh my God, Dean's not even here. Like, I'm on my own. And I looked over to the other swim because I was going to shout one of the guys to come over, but they wasn't there this time. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't believe I'm not even going to get a picture with this fish. And it's the biggest fish I've ever caught. Seriously, do you know what? I saw a runner and I started shouting to him. I was like, mate. And he was just looking at me like thinking, yeah, I bet he's got like a big Rambo knife and he wants to strangle me or something. Like, so he just ran off. So I was like, and this was like proper early morning as well. And there weren't no one else around. And I was just like, oh my God. So basically I thought, well, I've got to photograph it in the cradle because you can see in them pictures that it is a big fish. So I've done that, photographed it in the cradle and all that, like, and just like, I couldn't believe it. I took my trainers and socks off, put these like flip-floppy things on, and picked the fish up, took it down to the water, and I walked out into the water because the first part of the swim, like the water, is very shallow, and this big fish would have just got boffed, and yeah, so I just took it down and took it into like until my water was up to my knees, bent down, and I got the fish in the water and giving it a nice stroke and that, letting it out, get its canoe howl back in play, and yeah, and I just watched this beautiful fish which was a mirror carp, sorry. I haven't said that yet. Yeah, I just watched it swim off and I was just like, oh my God, man. And then I went back to the tent and basically just packed up all the net and the scales and all that sort of stuff, and basically picked one of my rods back up onto the pod, set it back up a bit, rebaited my rod that I'd caught the fish on, recast, and then I just sat there and I was like, and then at lunchtime my blower's ringing and I answer it, it's Dean. He's like, any luck? And I was like, Dean, I have caught a 31 pound 3 ounce carp, mirror carp, brother. He's like, no you ain't. I was like, well, I've got pictures of it. And he's like, well, how did you manage to do that? And I was like, well, I haven't got pictures of me holding it, but I've got pictures of it in the bloody, what's it called? The slingy, whatever it's called. Anyway, so I just carried on fishing that day, nothing else. Dean came back about 4:30. I showed him the pictures, but I downloaded them off the internet or something, you know what I mean? It was in my camera roll alongside other pictures that had been taken previously and anything I'd done after, or more pictures of this fish. And you could plainly see that I'd caught this fish, and you could see it was big, but you know what I mean? The 31 3 ounce, you can believe me or you don't have to believe me. But all I know is that is the biggest fish I've ever caught out of the Hampstead number 2 pond in the Heath. Beautiful 31 3 ounce mirror carp. Love it. And yeah, so basically when you go fishing, remember to bring a photographer with you. Alright, nice one. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, smash bells, comment and all that palaver, and I will speak to you lot soon.
Chap tales. Don't you wanna hear some chap tales?